Is there a lot of focus on team in the SAS? I've heard different sort of notions about that.
Yeah, and I think the jungle's probably one of the areas where they pick up on that the most, because you're sort of micro-scrutinised and you're a small enough group of people that the DS can really start to individually scrutinise you and get under your skin and see what you're like, particularly in times of pressure, which is what they'll want to look at. You know, when when everybody's tired, when everybody's hungry, when everybody's cold and wet, who just keeps going and keeps the team going and gets the morale and, you know, keeps you on board, and who are the ones that go quiet, go a bit sort of, you know, in the corner, or the ones that become grumpy and snappy or aggressive, because those, you know, those won't be good team players, and those sometimes are the ones that end up getting stand-up fails at the end of the jungle, because they upset a team dynamic rather than bring the team together.
Which jungle did you go to, Colin?
Well, I went to Belize on selection. Oh no, I went to Brunei on selection, but I went to Belize a bit later on with the regiment. But yeah, Brunei was where I did selection.
Mm. How did you find the jungle? You said the navigation is hard. What about the living conditions?
Yeah, I think people struggle with the jungle because it's a very infantry based. You've got to be good at your sort of basic infantry level soldiering. So your navigation, your tactics, your camouflage, your administration, keeping your weapon and yourself clean, that is relentless, and you're under microscopic scrutiny. There's nowhere to hide in the jungle. I'll give you an example. We would go out on patrol all day. One of you would be the patrol leader for that day. You would be in charge of the navigation, when you took stops, when you did your sig skeds and all that. And at night, so you have a routine at night where, as it's getting last light, you're all sort of on your bergens with your weapons, you know, ready to go. And then when it becomes dark, you slowly sort of disassemble and you get into your wet kit and into your dry kit and then into your hammock. And then that's all reversed in the morning, where you get out, you get in your wet kit, you get your stuff out, you clean, get your cam cream on, do your weapon, and you're ready. Mm. Well, we collapsed at night, we all went in our hammocks, we all got back out in the morning, we're all facing outwards, and we're literally, you know, our boots are almost touching in this sort of all-round defence type stuff. And our DS stood right in the middle of us all. And he was just looking at everybody, you know, and nobody had heard him come in or whatever, and he'd just been silent, you know, like a ghost in the middle of us all. And of course, your mind starts playing with you. You know, every little tiny mistake you make, you know, you might have stood on a twig, you might have missed a bit of cam, your weapon might be a bit dirty, you might be doing a firefight, and you might think, I didn't do that quick enough. These all play on your mind, you know, over the course of it. And for a lot of people, it's too much, you know, and they just, because it's a volunteer course, at any time during that 6-week selection process, you can say, that's it, you know, I'm going home.